The equation 12x plus 7y equal to 16 will have no solution in which of the following ranges. And we are given here 4 possible choices and we have to find all correct answers. So this is a problem that I will solve using the concept of coordinate geometry, taking some help from coordinate geometry. And if you have a equation, a simple linear equation like the one that's given, ax plus by equal to c, so that's a very simple linear equation. We know that in terms of coordinate geometry, this will be representative of a straight line. So we start by writing out the equation 12x plus 7y equal to 16 and also drawing out the xy plane, so the xy coordinate axis. Now we can find the intersection of this line on y-axis and x-axis by plugging in y equal to 0 and x equal to 0 respectively. So let's start by plugging in x equal to 0. So that's the point on y-axis that we'll be able to find. So it's simple to see that y is equal to 16 by 7 if you plug in x equal to 0. So that's slightly less than 2. So let's draw that point out on the coordinate axis. So it's a point on y-axis here. And if we plug in y equal to 0, we can find x. So x in this case is 16 by 12. That's 4 by 3, slightly greater than 1. So let's plot that point out on the x-axis here. And then if we just join these 2 points with a straight line, that's basically our straight line with the equation 12x plus 7y equal to 16. So that's pretty simple to draw out. Now, next, we will consider an important lesson regarding the relative location of a point P with respect to a line. And it's actually very simple. So if we consider a point P with coordinates A, B, then in order to find where the point is located relative to the line, we simply plug in the values of a and b into the equation. And in this case, it's 12x plus 7y equal to 16. So we plug in x equal to a, y equal to b. We find 12a plus 7b. And if it's greater than 16, then that point P will lie above the line. If it's equal to 16, then of course it will lie right on the line. And then if it's less than 16, then this point will be below the line. So the first point that we need to consider, so that's the option A, is x equal to 1 and y equal to 1. So if we plug in x equal to 1 and y equal to 1 in that equation 12x plus 7y, we get 12 plus 7 equal to 19, which is greater than 16. So the point P, 1, 1, will basically lie above this line. And we can actually draw that out like this in our xy plane. So that's the point 1, 1 that we have indicated. So you can see it's lying above the line. And now let's consider the region of the xy plane that's represented by the range that's given in option A. So it's x greater than 1 and y greater than 1. So if we represent that region, here it is in the xy plane. So that's the gray shaded zone, and that's the zone A basically. And we can see that our line does not lie in the zone A. So this line doesn't really meet any portion of the zone A. So that means that there is no solution to this equation in our zone A. Because if there is a solution, then some portion of this line, which is representative of this equation, should pass through that zone. But it's very clear here from the diagram that we have drawn that that's not the case for zone A. Now let's consider the option B. So the option B is x greater than 1 and y less than minus 1. So the point on the coordinate axis that we'll consider here is x equal to 1, y equal to minus 1. And that's your point right there, 1 minus 1. And the zone that the range given in option B represents is x greater than 1 and y less than minus 1. And if I draw that zone out in our xy plane, this will be that zone. So the green rectangle represents that zone, and let's call that the zone B. And it's very clear that our line will pass through this zone, right? So this zone will potentially have solutions to the equation 12x plus 7y equal to 16. Now let's consider the next point for zone C, and the point of interest here is x is equal to minus 1 and y is equal to 1. And if we plug in these values of x and y, so x equal to minus 1 and y equal to 1, we will basically get minus 12 plus 7, which is clearly below the line. And that was the case also with 1 and minus 1. So it's good to be able to verify with each of these options whether the line lies below or above the line. And in this case, it's very obvious that it will be below the line. So let's draw that out here. And again, if we try to find out what zone of the xy plane this range represents, the range that's given in option C represents x less than minus 1 and y greater than 1. So that will be this kind of purplish rectangle that I've drawn. So that represents the zone. And here, let's call that zone C. We can see that if we really extend out that line, right? So it's going to, at some point, be in that zone C. So the zone C is a range where this equation 12x plus 7y equal to 16 is going to have some solutions. Now let's move over to option D, and the relevant point to consider for option D is x equal to minus 1 and y equal to minus 1. So let's do that here. And once again, we'll draw out the range represented by the option in option D, which is x less than minus 1 and y less than minus 1. So that will be this orange rectangle over here. And we can see that no portion of the line actually passes through this zone. So option D will not, or the zone D, let's call it zone D. So zone D will have no solution to this equation 12x plus 7y equal to 16. So from this coordinate geometric representation of the straight line and considering the different ranges on the xy plane, it's very easy to find out that the region where this equation will have no solution are basically the zone A and zone D. So those will be the two correct options here.